Hi, I'm going to do question 6 now on page 3. And if you read this story and translate it into this picture, all we're really looking for is the length of that line where the question mark is. You know, so the height of the building is the same as that line length. Well, what we have here is a right triangle, and we know the length of the hypotenuse is 38. And the length of the leg at the bottom is 27, so we need the length of this leg. Let's call it x, or you can call it h for height of the building. Doesn't matter. But remember, the Pythagorean theorem says that the leg squared plus the leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. X squared plus 27 squared equals 38 squared. And now this becomes a calculator problem. We just want to solve this for x. So we'll change these numbers. 27 squared is 729. And 38 squared, I don't have that one memorized. That's 1444. Now if we want to solve this for x, and take away 729 from both sides, and then we have x squared is 715, and we can just take the square root of both sides of this. The square root of x squared will give us x, and on the other side, officially in solving this sort of equation, we're supposed to regard both the positive and negative square root of the number, but since it's the height of a building, we're going to ignore the negative. Negative height of a building makes no sense whatsoever. So x, according to the calculator, we do square root of 715, using the square root key. Square root of 715 is 26.73, blah, 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 and the paper says round it off to the nearest tenth. Next digit's a 3, so we round down and call it 26.7, and the units was meters, so 26.7 meters for the height of the building. Let's do number 7 now. I want to rationalize the denominator, which is fancy talk for get rid of any radical sign in the denominator. This has 2 terms, so we use the little trick of multiplying by the conjugate. So the conjugate means change the sign in the middle, or the conjugate, I shouldn't say that, means the conjugate of this expression will be what we get when we change the sign in the middle. So I'm multiplying the top and bottom by 3 root x minus 2. And then as we multiply out the denominators, we can use the shortcut. Remember, something plus something times something minus something. It's the difference of squares pattern, or with conjugates, we were saying in a previous lesson, square the first term, square the second term, and then subtract. And the square of 3 square root x will be 9x. The square of 2 will be 4. So it's 9x minus 4 for the denominator. And then the numerator, I can just multiply both of these by minus 5, and I would get negative 15 square root x plus 10. There is no number that divides evenly into 15, 10, 9, and 4, so that's fully reduced. Okay. Now, finally, for question 8. Question 8, want the 4th root of 256. And 256 is a perfect 4th power. That's 4 to the 4th power. And the 4th root of a variable to a power, you might remember we divide the exponent by the index. So this is just 4 y to the 16 divided by 4 is 4. Now, if you had issue with getting that 4th root of 256, let me remind you that on your calculator, if you want a 4th root, of something, first type the index 4, then hit the math key, and then see choice number 5 there, choice number 5. That will take any root of whatever you enter after we push the key now. See, the x is the index, which I already entered as a 4. When I hit enter, see, there's 4th root of whatever I put next. If I put 256, there's the 4th root of 256 is 4. And going in the other direction, 4 to the 4th power is 256. Okay, so that concludes page 3.